Welcome to another episode of Inspired Voices. My name is Riera, and this is Bilal Smith.
Hey, I'm back.
Don't get shy on me. You use that voice.
Hey, y'all. Period.
All right. Thanks for coming back, man.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I should have watched. No, I thought today I was like, I should watch my old interview so I don't say the same thing. But
No, it's okay.
it's different because we're gonna be different and talk about different stuff.
Yeah. We haven't seen each other in a while.
We're gonna be real.
Exactly.
Anyway.
For those of you who don't know, Bilal was on the podcast, season 3, episode 9. If you guys want to check it out, I'll leave it in the link below. What?
Nothing. I'm like, you do your thing. I'm like, oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah, people are gonna rewatch it. For those of you who don't know, also you're a dancer.
Yes, I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
I'm a ballet dancer. Well, I'm a dancer and I do ballet, and I'm a ballet dancer with the Carolina Ballet. Mm-hmm. But I like to dance.
Yes, you're a professional dancer,
Under
not
the
just any
umbrella.
dancer.
Yes.
You're a professional dancer.
But there's many like different ways to like move, and I would say that I like to do them all, or I'm interested in doing them all. So
Yeah.
But yes, you are correct. I'm
Yeah.
a ballet dancer.
So
Period.
last time we left off, you were in the Carolina Ballet.
Yes, I am in Carolina Ballet. I still am.
Oh, you still are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you left for some reason.
I am leaving, yes. My
okay.
last season is this season and my last performance.
I thought that was last year. Okay.
No.
Okay.
I don't think we talked about that in the last interview. I think I hadn't like actually decided that
Right.
yet,
Yeah.
but I don't remember. Maybe I had decided it, I don't know. But
No, I think the last time we just left off like you're in the Carolina Ballet.
yes. I think I talked a lot about like how the company was started and blah blah blah. Anyway, not to get off topic, but anyway, yes, this is my last season with the company, and my last shows or production will be in April. We have a program called Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto. That's one of the ballets on the program. We're also doing some other works, Stravinsky Violin Concerto.
Yeah.
But anyway, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm still with Carolina Ballet.
Yeah,
currently.
that's a big move to get out of it, man.
Yeah.
Right? Because like Carolina Ballet, for those of you who don't know, is like top notch in the area, right?
Yes, I mean it's one of the only professional ballet companies in the Triangle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of made you go that route?
You mean the route to do ballet or to leave?
To leave. Yeah.
Well, I would say that when we talked last time, or when I talked to people about, becoming a dancer, I say that, ballet was never like my dream, or it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I want to do that when I grow up. Mm-hmm. I think we talked about how like I grew up and I had my sisters, and I would watch music videos with them, and I thought like, oh, like one day, like I like this, one day I'll be in a music video. I'll just be like a backup dancer. So that was something that I knew I wanted to do when I was younger. And then like ballet just kind of like happened just because of the fact that I went to performing arts high school, and when I was applying for it, I knew I liked to dance. So I just, chose to audition for dance. And then that's basically how I got to this point.
Yeah.
And, basically the dream was to, after learning ballet and studying it for 5 years, was to be a professional. I mean, I thought I wanted to go to a university and stuff, and that did seem like
to get your master's
what
or
everybody, well, no, like to get a BFA in dance, like people usually like after high school will go on and continue to pursue education at a conservatory or university that has a dance program.
Yeah.
Just to keep training, but also to get a degree. Mm-hmm. But that didn't work out for me because I didn't have the money, and I just was trying to like fit into that idea that people wanted for, I guess, for me or for like people to go and get a BFA or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like that was the thing that everybody did. And so I was like, oh, I can do that too, or I wanted to do that too. And then halfway through my first year of community college, because I went to community college so that I could get some college credits under my belt and then transfer. One, it was just still the money issue. I didn't see that becoming something that I could get past. Obviously, there's ways I probably could have got past it, but I just didn't want to do that, and I just was unhappy, and I wanted to dance. So I figured, you know, what did people usually do back in the day when they become professionals? They just go out and they audition. So it's me. You know, I can change it, you know, and I can do this if I want. I just need to like get out of my own way, which obviously I heard multiple times throughout my training, but it really like hit. And so I heard a voice that told me, go home. So I went back home to Baltimore. I went back and moved in with my mother, and like basically my house where I was living at before.
So that voice, I mean, that's kind of a big deal, right? Like, and I get that, right? You hear a voice in your head, and you like, do you listen to it or not, right?
That was the first time I heard a voice that was not my voice.
Oh, interesting.
You know, it's like you talk. There's like you hearing voices, and I'm not trying to say like I'm crazy, and we all like a little bit crazy, but there's like the intrusive thoughts, and then there's like a voice that says something to you, and you're like, oh. And I think that is true. That is the voice of God. That is the voice of your intuition, whatever you want to call it, like that gut feeling.
Do you think it's your future self?
I would say yes. That's probably like saying like, look, this is what you're doing now to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
I would agree. You know, but yeah, I'm telling you, I was just like sitting there. And I don't know if I had already decided I was going to go home, or maybe I was just thinking like, what am I going to do now? And I feel like I had just got to a point where I was like, all right, I think I've done it. You know, it was almost like a surrender moment. It was like, what else am I about to be doing here?
That's interesting, because it's New York, right? And like the feeling I get with New York is like there's so many different things that you can do within it.
Yes, but just where I was, like what I was experiencing at that time, and I was 20, going on 21. I was very young.
Yeah.
I'm 31 now, and yeah, I don't know. I was staying in the basement at my dad's fraternity brother's house. They weren't really, towards the end or throughout my time there, they weren't really the kindest people to me. I mean, I'm just gonna say that, and you know, if it gets back to them, like, that's just my experience. Like, they weren't really so kind all the time or as welcoming as I thought that they would be, and but I mean, like, that just added, you know, more.
Was there a specific reason why?
I don't know if there was a specific reason. I mean, I feel like
It's just who they are, maybe.
I mean, they like went to church every Sunday. And I mean, I know that doesn't say anything about them, but you know, I don't know. You know, it's like, this is the thing. I've growing up, I've been around a lot of my dad's and my mom's like friends and a lot of his fraternity brothers. And I just feel like had that been some other person who I knew who didn't live in New Jersey, lived in Baltimore, it would have been totally different. Like, I would have been like with them every single day, and they would have, you know, said, hey, come up for dinner. What do you need? Da, da, da. And it just wasn't that experience.
Yeah.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I don't want to like, yeah. So that's just that on that. But I feel like it just wasn't, it was like I was struggling and I was getting by and I was making it through, and I had, you know, my parents and my great-grandmother from time to time like sending me checks and sending me care packages and money and through Western Union. And I had got a job at one point in time at a Panera Bread near like Madison Square Garden. In my head, I'm like calculating how many times I'm saying like, but anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I did that whole thing, but you know, I also had conflict. It was just so many things that once I got to the end of that year there, or that time period there, I was just thinking to myself, what do I do now? Mm-hmm. And
Did you have a goal in mind at that time?
well, I mean, the
like
main goal was to get a job in Dance Theater Harlem, you know? And I just felt that just wasn't happening at that time for anybody at the program that I was in.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not your time. And I feel that we all know everybody's journey is different. So, all that to say, I heard a voice that said, "You're gonna go home." And I was like, all right. So I was like, went on the boat bus at the time.
Looking back on that experience, going back home, is it a different, I don't want to say mindset, a different, I don't know how to say it. So like, okay, so back then, going back home, did you feel like a failure or anything like that? Or looking back at it now, oh, it wasn't a failure, it was something else?
I don't even, ooh, that word. Okay.
It's a tough word.
It's a tough word. No, maybe, okay.
But when people go through situations like that, it kind of may seem like that way.
You know what? I'm trying to be like honest. I don't think I felt like a failure. I felt like I had to go. I just feel like
that's it. Yeah.
We joke about this. We used to make a joke because at Dancer Harlem in the professional training program, we did this thing called Tafia, which was a study of the African diaspora, where we would do like, we go from like slavery to the Harlem Renaissance to like Jim Crow, the Black Power movement.
Oh, okay. So the dance periods throughout that?
Well, no, just like the actual
just the history
Black experience.
Okay.
Gotcha. Like outside of dance. But then we would put it into dance. We would like, there was this girl in my class named Luz. She had this line that she had to say and we used to joke about it because how she would say it, but she was like, they couldn't stay. They had to go, but they did not know where they were going to. But it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, I could not stay. I literally had to go. I didn't know what was going to happen next, but I was like, all right, I came here to get some training because I didn't want to like go back home and just sit there after that summer at Nashville Ballet. When I came back from that summer, I definitely felt like, oh, I failed.
When you came back from where?
Nashville Ballet.
Gotcha.
Because that was the program that I had auditioned for and went to that year. I was in community college and was like, oh, there's a possibility I might join the company or join the second company. But again, I almost didn't feel like a failure on one hand because I went there, I experienced it. It was something that I thought it was in the beginning, but then towards the end, it wasn't what I thought it was.
So it was meant to be then.
So it was kind of meant to be. Yeah. I felt like the people who, were rooting for me when I came back was like, oh, why didn't you stay there? Why didn't it work out? And I feel like that probably was the same experience from when I came back from Dance Theater Harlem. But again, I mean, I know that was the experience like because I went home after the program year had ended.
Yeah. And
I came back during the summer to like stay with, I don't know if I came to get anything from like the place that I was staying, but I think I came up there just to like, for a week, just for myself, to stay with a friend who was in my program. And just like come up there and take class and kind of like say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah.
And that week that I was there, I had told like my teachers and stuff like that I wasn't coming back, and it was very emotional because they were like, "You could have told us if you needed like a place or whatever." And I was crying and I was just like, I have to go.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's okay. Like, I really, you know, and I think that more so, like, more or less, like, not feeling failure, just like kind of feeling sad that it like had to come to an end.
Right.
You know?
Did you go back home after that?
Yeah, and then I went back home.
Okay. So it was definitely, again, like one of those voices in your head that told you like it's time to go back home.
Well, that was all the same year. That was all the same experience.
Okay.
Like, I went home after that with all my ish and left it, and, you know, it was like, all right, I'm going back home.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of like went back up during that summer, because that was the same year, just to like visit for that weekend, but also tell them like I'm not coming back for the school year the following year.
Gotcha.
And that was it. You know, it was like, all right, bye.
You know, the thing I'm scared about is that voice in my head that says like go home or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm scared that that's comfortability. You know what I mean?
No, it's just like,
there's like a part of me like, I hope this isn't me just wanting to be comfortable, you know, leaving and going to my...
Okay, so this whole thing, let's just talk about what you just said, because I think that circles back to the reason why I'm leaving North Carolina. There's a voice in my head that for many years I've been back and forth with, because like I said, ballet was not my initial like thing that I thought I wanted to do when I grew up. Mm-hmm. And then when I found it, that is what I was in love with, and that's all I ever wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I kind of put all the other stuff behind me and like honestly forgot all about the other things that I, you know, aspired to do or thought about when I was younger. Yeah. And then I kind of just like put my head down and just kind of like focused on like ballet. Like, that is the dream. That's the goal. Get into a ballet company and like dance and be like Misty Copeland, be like, you know, my mentors like Darius Barnes or Eugene Barnes, you know, just people who I had seen doing ballet, you know, like all those, the dancers at Dance Theater Harlem who I would see come through Baltimore, and when they were on tour, it's like, I saw them and I was like, oh, like, I could be in that company, you know, or, well, that's kind of all I thought I could do was be at Dance Theater Harlem, because it was like predominantly, you know, the main, you know, well-renowned, predominant, like African-American ballet company. Yeah. And so then I'm saying that at the end of that experience of that school year there, I realized I was like, wait, I don't only have to be in the predominantly Black ballet company to be a professional dancer. I learned something different at the end of that, you know, which told me, oh, okay, you can be in dance anywhere you want, or you can try and, you know. So anyway, long story short, that was the reason why I went back home. And that was enough. That was enough for me. You know, that was, you know, that was the reason. And so.
You knew it wasn't the end though.
I knew, yes. Yeah. Period. Period. It's never the end. And so, but was it? It was rough, you know. But I think that same voice that I heard, or the voices that I heard when I, you know, heard this choir sing this song called "Optimistic" by Sounds of Blackness, you know, where the lyrics are like, "As long as you keep your head to the sky, you can win." And I like broke down crying hearing them sing that, because like, again, at that time I had just left a high school where it was like all my dreams had came true, and like I was doing ballet, and then I had this time period in my life where I was like not doing that. I was in community college in my city, which is not the most inspirational city to live in, I'm gonna be honest. Feeling like that is when I felt like I had failed, or like I wasn't doing what I was had learned to do, you know? So fast forward, like I did that and went to the Nashville thing. That didn't work out, came back home, auditioned for Dance in Harlem, went there, did that whole year. It was everything that I thought it could have been, and sometimes not, but it was still a good experience, and I learned so much, and I'm so thankful for that time. Went back home and was like, you know what? I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna, you know, go to the places that I know I can go to and take class and see if they'll like let me perform with them. I think I told like part of the story of the last interview, but basically so many things unfolded for me that I didn't even expect, like multiple offers to do different gigs throughout the entire year and go and guest with a school at a competition. It was just like a lot that I was not expecting. That wasn't what I heard from The Voice, you know? And so that happened, and then I auditioned for Carolina Ballet summer program, and I went there, and obviously I still was in a way like unsure, even though I knew I really wanted to dance with Carolina Ballet or have an opportunity there. I had auditioned for a minor company in Dallas called Dallas Black Dance Theater. And I asked one of my teachers the third or fourth week of the intensive at Carolina Ballet, she was one of the minor teachers who was coming in, and I was like, hey, like I'm, you know, have this offer, or I have audition at Dallas Black today that they said to like come to if I want to be considered for their company, but also I, you know, could get offered an apprenticeship after this. And she was just like, all right, well, where do you want to dance? That's all she asked me. And I was like, well, I want to dance here. And she was like, all right, we'll stay here. And I was like, period, I'm staying. So I stayed, and then, you know, I mean, I don't want to like.
Was that comfortability for you?
No, that was exactly what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay, all right.
I felt like I think that if I had went, that would have been me going and not really trusting myself. That would just be me being like, well, I'm afraid if this doesn't work out at Carolina Ballet, then I need to have another option, even though like this is what I want.
Okay. So
you know, it's like that whole
B.
like trick of like the backup plan.
Yeah.
The plan B, it's like, wait.
My plan A is working.
If you want the plan A, then it's like, yeah, that you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, but it's like, if that's the basket that you really want, period.
Right.
Put your eggs there. So, and I felt like it was going well. So, I mean, and look at me now.
Yeah.
10 years later, a soloist with Carolina Ballet.
There you go.
I think that was like a spinoff of the question about like the voice and comfortability. I feel like there's two. There's like one that's almost like the fear, the voice of fear that's like, don't do that because you don't know what's going to happen. That's a voice yes, circling back, that is a voice that over the years here, once I started to feel like, all right, what's next for me? You know, because I know this isn't the end. And I know when I left New York, I said, when I'm going to come back when I'm older. And when like, I kind of like, I'm a little bit wiser and more mature, because I felt that had I stayed there at that age, I would have got lost in the sauce. Think about how like, there's so much to distract you from, especially when, even as an adult, you know, you are going through a hard time. You want a distraction in those moments. Yeah. New York City, big distractions, you know, big things to distract you really from like your main goal. And at that age, it's like, you know, and even at this age, there's sometimes things that like I allowed to distract me when I'm like going through a lot. And it's like, I would have crumbled, I feel. I really would have got lost. And not saying that, you know, it's not for everybody, but I feel like, you know, I've seen people go there and kind of like it takes them off of the path that I feel like maybe they had, you know, saw for themselves before. But again, like maybe that's their journey, and that
reminds me of when, you know, I used to play in bands and stuff like that, and we almost got signed to Capitol Records and stuff like that, and that never panned out because the singer like left all of a sudden, and just like this whole thing. But I, you know, thinking back, like it's probably a good idea that we didn't get signed to Capitol Records, and like maybe we would have been famous or something like that, because like I feel like I would have been like a drug addict or an alcoholic or something like that. You know what I mean?
Period.
Yeah. So
you know. Yeah, but again, like there's this idea that you don't of like regret that. It's like it's kind of silly because you don't know what the other option could have been.
You're right.
You don't know how that other like alternative like story could have actually turned out. But but yeah, I mean, basically there's that voice that has been like saying like, you know, that there's something else you want to do. But then there's that voice that is the voice of accountability that's been like, no, but stay, because like you could do this ballet, or you don't know if you could get a raise, or you can get promoted to this, or you don't know if, I don't know, like, also I've created relationships with people, and I've like, these people are like my family now, and it's sad to think about not seeing them every single day.
Sure.
But like, how did the people that we look up to get to where they were? It's like they had to leave at some point. They had to move on to the next thing. So it gets to a point where, you know, you cannot keep trying to silence the voice within you, because it's only going to continue to get louder over time.
Exactly.
And then if you keep doing that, it gets to a point where it is too late, and the opportunity has passed.
Yep.
Energetically, physically, like, I can only do this for so long. I mean, in a way, like, there are people who continue to do it into their 40s, and, you know, I see myself doing that. But again, it's like there's a time to step into something new.
That reminds me of, like, you know, like the whole thing of, like, I have a video photography business and stuff like that, and thinking about, like, oh, what was the goal there? You know, I'm thinking, like, I don't want to do commercials. I don't want to just do, like, social media promos and stuff like that. So I didn't know. So I had to, like, completely switch it up. And, like, I stopped it and, like, reset my foundation from there. And, like, I didn't know what my goal was, so I had to just stop it. Yeah. I forgot where I was going with that.
But I think I don't know. It's like I feel like once you have a goal, once you know what you want to do, like, the only thing that's stopping you from getting there is actually going out and doing it.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I feel like right now, speaking of, I guess, failure or whatnot, it's like the process this year, I've gone to a few auditions, and, you know, like, started out, okay, I made it through this first part of the audition. I go away, they asked me to come back. I recently went back up for a second audition, and then I got cut after the first, like, round of it.
Yeah.
And that's just, like, how it goes. Yes, there's, like, that feeling of, like, failure, but also it's kind of like the feeling of, like, oh, wow, I kind of proved the people right who were saying, like, oh, you don't know if you're gonna do this, or you don't know if you're gonna get that. But then it's like,
there's always that voice.
Well, that also is kind of, like, obvious, because that's just how it all goes. Like, I didn't know if I was gonna do this, but I did it. So it's just like, if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. If it's not, it's not. I feel like,
but you can give it a shot, you know?
You give it a shot. It's just like, that's just how it all goes. So, okay, on to the next one.
Right.
Period.
Right. As far as, like, going back to that voice, right? We already established that it wasn't comfortability and stuff like that. But do you know the difference between it being a comfortability thing and just an instinct that I have to act on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I was saying that, you know, is the comfortability is the fear of the fear of the uncertainty.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I think I take, like, huge risk when it comes to being uncomfortable. like almost 2 years ago now, like, I got too comfortable, and so I decided to not pay rent anymore. Well, you know, I finished the lease out, but I didn't just not pay rent.
I was like, the gag is
right. I got arrested. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna pay no rent. So
yeah, the law of the universe will protect me.
I'm gonna let the universe pay my rent.
Right. No, but, you know, I finished the lease out, and I was done with apartments. I was done with living in the houses and stuff like that. I decided to live in my car. and just find a storage place and stuff like that. That's how I found this place. And so like I lived in my car for a year just because of one, sick of paying rent. Two, I was too comfortable, and I knew I wasn't getting shit done, and so I needed to switch it up.
You're just getting by, but living,
Yeah, but then I hear like risk like that is probably like a trauma response. Which
what
I
you
can
did?
See. Yeah, like taking high risk like that,
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at you. I'm like thinking about something that Keke Palmer said, where she's like, "You ever look back at an experience and be like, oh wait, I was traumatized."
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Wait, that was horrible. No, but no, it's true. It's very true. It's giving very much trauma bond. No, but I don't know. But I mean, yes and no. Maybe you just really needed like a change,
Yeah.
But and also maybe you needed a therapist. Who knows?
Both.
Both. There's nuances there, but I do feel like I love Keke Palmer. One of my friends, Lauren.
She's great.
Talk about her all the time. Yeah. But we all love her. She's just so lovable and likable.
Yeah.
And I can relate to her just like unhinged, like natural herness. But she said speaking of Drew Barrymore, she was on an interview with her and she was just like, why is this happening to me and blah 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 blah. And she said that her therapist was like, because you asked for that. You asked to experience that. And it's like, wait, did I really ask to go through this like traumatic thing? And it's like, yes, but on like a soul level, on an energetic level, like yes, because had you not, I don't know, it's just like, well, I mean, there's this belief that like we, sign these contracts before we come into these bodies and we come down here to like experience these things and to meet certain people who will, in the end, regardless of like the experience we have with them, whether it's bad or good, have helped us to grow and evolve and teach us something about ourselves.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, those experiences do help shape us to the people that we are now and today. And it's like, I really respect you for what you do and, and just how you take something that is yours to uplift and to give other people a platform to, show who they are and share their gifts with the world.
Yeah,
so
share their voice and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like, again, would you have done that had you been a musician and got signed to Capitol Records?
Yeah, probably not.
Would you have been like such a person who could like look back on an experience like that and have that knowledge and wisdom had you not stopped paying rent and lived in your car?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You have to go through certain things in life to, I don't know, I do know, to be who you are right now in that moment, to become that future version of yourself.
Yeah, it creates like a thick skin,
Yeah.
So,
you have wisdom, period.
thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, somebody acknowledges my
period. Oh my God. I say period. My friend Anthony, he's like, obviously I know that period has been like a thing, but I don't know anyone other than him who says it that much, and now it's become something that like I say, and I almost feel like it's like an ode. Yes, but and you know what? But maybe it is just like an ode to him, but also just like it's true. Like at the end of the day, like period. That's a period. No,
period is
that's
a whole sentence.
That's a whole sentence. I mean, it sometimes
just like knows a whole sentence.
We'll say someone says something. It's like, you agree? Period.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yes.
I mean, it has that flow to it too.
It really.
Period.
It's the ending. Period. You said it's like if they said everything that needed to be said. Period. That's it.
Oh man. So let's talk about the future.
The future. The futuro.
The futuro of the Fata. You're leaving Carolina Ballet.
Yes.
And what's the next step for you? Do you have a plan, or are you seeing where life takes you?
I'm like, sometimes I'm like, mind your business. No.
This ain't that kind of show.
Mind your damn business. No. But no, because I guess like that part can be like the fear of like, because people, look.
Right.
I'm laughing, but I'm real. Sometimes people don't want you to win. They don't want you to win. That pisses them off because people look at you going after what you want to do, and they're like, oh, I never did that. I never went out and did that. Why do you think that you should go out and do that? Like, I'm jealous. I'm envious of you going out and pursuing something else because, well, I got stuck doing this one thing.
Yeah.
You know, or some people just don't like it. And they're like, I don't want him to do that. Like, it's just like, so sometimes it do be like.
Do you feel that way now? Because I say, fuck that, man. You're a veteran in the game, bro.
Okay, can I say something? Wait, let me address what you asked me before. At times, I do feel that way, but I just be like Angela Bassett said once, but I mean, this is just like from the Bible. If God be for you, who can be against you? Nobody, period. It's just like, you're not about to stop what I got going on for me. You're not about to stop my dreams because the person before you didn't stop my dreams to get to where I'm at today. And so that's very much that on that. It's like, no one is gonna, I don't want to be this person, but you know, it's given very much Defying Gravity from Wicked.
Ah, okay.
And that is a slave hymn. No, Keke Palmer said that, but it's true. It's like, nobody is gonna bring me down. But no one's gonna bring me down. No one's gonna stop me from going after what I want. It's like, I think that what you can do is to encourage me to go and do that thing, because that's gonna come back and I don't know, that's gonna come back to you. I mean, good karma. But I don't know, I think about it like this. It's like, everywhere that I go from the place that I was before, I'm gonna share my experience. I'm gonna say, hey, or they're gonna look at my resume and be like, oh, this person danced and went to the Baltimore School of the Arts. They also were training at the Dance Theater of Harlem. You know, like they danced for Carolina Ballet. It's like
For X amount of years.
Yeah. It's like, you don't think that people look at Cynthia Erivo's resume and be like, oh, she trained at this school, and then everybody's gonna want to go to that school. You know, it uplifts. The places that I've come from before.
Right.
So
yeah, that's true.
Period. Go on and be great, because that's gonna make us look good.
Right.
That was just like a general thing. Well, maybe it wasn't, but no.
Is that your way of telling me mind your business?
No. Basically, I got on the mind your business thing because it's like sometimes you don't want to share stuff, and I feel like because like you want to keep it to yourself until like it actually comes to fruition, because you feel like, oh, if I put this out there, people can put their negativity on it or whatever, their doubts and fears or whatever. I mean, I had a lot of people saying that too. Like even when I got my apprenticeship with the company, being like, so is that gonna pay you? Like, what is that? And I mean, like I have people to this day, like. Who sometimes I see them, they like, you still doing the ballet thing? You still doing that dancing?
That little ballet thing?
The thing?
Little?
Am I still doing the thing? What?
Yeah.
But that just means that they were never really like that invested in what you were doing in the first place, you know? And it's like, they also can't see outside of the small little scope of their brain to see like what, you know, that could really mean for someone.
Right.
Because they probably had a dream that they never, you know, pursued. You know, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it drop like a raisin in the sun? Who is that? Zora Neale Hurston? It's someone's poem.
I don't know.
Words.
So you're trying to get into musicals or something?
Period.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was something that I saw.
You mentioned though when you were a little kid that you wanted to be on stage and like dance with celebrities and stuff like that.
Right, but it wasn't like I didn't know.
Is that still a thing though? That you want to try and do?
We getting there. Let me tell you.
Okay, all right.
But again, like that was one thing. That was like concert, like backup, like dancing, like musical artist type of thing.
Yeah.
whole time I'm like watching, think about it, it's like I'm looking back at my life, it's like I grew up watching musicals in a way with like The Wiz and like, but again, that's film. You know, I'm not thinking about it like actually on a stage. I don't, cause I had, at that point, I don't think I had ever really seen a Broadway. I mean, I think I remember I saw a production of The Wiz when I was like 4 or 5, but again, like that was so long ago. So, and again, and I think before that, I was so young, I wasn't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna be a dancer even then. So, circling back or going back, I throughout my high school years, I would go to my mom's job, and then one of the ushers that she would talk to, like the head usher, she would tell her that, you know, my son goes to the Baltimore School of the Arts. She's like, oh, does he want to come see a show? So throughout those years, I had been given like tickets for free to go see so many shows. I saw West Side Story. I saw Wicked multiple times on tour there. I saw Cats and
This is in Baltimore?
And yeah,
Okay,
Flashdance musical. So many different shows.
Yeah.
Spring Awakening. I mean,
That's awesome.
the list goes on. And so I think that is when you know, I think Wicked was one of those shows where I was like, oh, snap. Cause I had just learned, obviously it was like, I had just learned ballet, started learning ballet, I was in high school learning ballet. And there's a scene in the second half of the show, spoiler alert if you have not seen the musical, but there's a scene where they're going to the Emerald City, and this guy comes out and he has like this little ribbon, and he's like throwing the ribbon around, and he does like an arabesque turn. And I was just like, oh, they doing ballet in here. I'm like, oh, they doing ballet in here. So I was like, oh, I could do this too. And then a lot of other things, like a teacher of mine in high school used to always say like, you have to defy gravity. I didn't know what that meant. I mean, I knew like that's what that meant, like the word defying gravity.
But not
like, okay.
specifically.
But I didn't know it was connected to this show. And then I had a friend who was a theater major who had seen it, was trying to explain the whole like premise of the show to me, and I was like, I don't get it. And then my mom had brought home the cast recording, and I listened to that. But I didn't really like get into it like that then.
Yeah.
But long story short, it is one of my favorite musicals, and so yes, that is a dream of mine.
Cool.
To be on Broadway and to be in shows like that.
Would you want to be on Broadway, like staying there or like touring?
Honestly, I say I want to go tour because, this city's in this United States that we live in, that I have not been to yet.
Right. Yeah.
So I would love to, travel and do that, and then on tour, your house, so you get to like save up that money and.
Yeah. You've been everywhere, so kind of know like. Where you want to go to.
It's just like it's like you're killing two birds with one stone. You're working, but also you're experiencing and traveling. So yeah, I would love to do that.
That's a great idea, man.
That is one of my dreams. But also, it's like there's so many opportunities. There's agencies there. There's so many different dance companies. There's so many opportunities to do smaller like work, just for fun. But to get into TV, into film. It's like I grew up, watching movies like Step Up and Dirty Dancing and Fame and all those things. Is like there's dancers. And wherever there are dancers, wherever they want a dancer, period, call me. I'm trying to be up in there.
Right. Hey, don't tell me, tell them.
Put me in it. Put me in it. So
put them in. Period.
Cause I'm good and I'm ready to pop off.
Yeah.
I'm ready to bust down.
I see it for you, man. I really do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the future.
That's exciting.
And again, it's like it's unknown, but has it always been known? No.
Sure. No.
There was once a past version of myself who didn't know what this future, that this future version of myself existed. Even though I knew, or like I aspired to become this future version of myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know who he would be and what he would look like and how he would feel, and you never know when you're gonna reach that point of like, all right, it is time to go. Right. But I've thought about it over the last, I would say, 5 years.
Wow.
pre-pandemic, like I would say 2018.
That's a long time.
And so it's just like, but the pandemic happened, and then I like physically and mentally and spiritually shifted a lot, and then a lot of like changes at work, like really great things happened for me, and so I was like, all right, I'll stick around. It seems like, all right, it's not the time to go.
Still going.
Well, no, yeah, it was not the time to go yet,
Right.
and it wasn't that like bad stuff started to happen, but I think
from my understanding of what you've been saying, it seems like things are now settling, and you're able to kind of like, okay, let go and move on to the next thing.
Yeah. I think from a dancer's perspective, it's like you kind of start to kind of like take stock of, all right, so this is the 4th time I've done this ballet, and I say that it's like you like there's ballets that are there's dances or rep stuff that is in the repertoire in companies, and you do it once maybe when you're 20, then 2 or 3 seasons later it comes back, then 2 seasons after that it comes back again. So once you start to dance stuff like the 3rd or 4th time, you're like, all right.
Yeah, getting a little bit of repetitive.
Yeah, and but I think that in many ways that's good, because like you're not the same dancer. I'm not the same dancer that I was when I was 24, and I got to dance a ballet again at 31, and I got to like step into it with a lot more confidence, and while still kind of having like a little bit of like the nerves and the fear while I'm on stage of like, oh, I don't know if this is gonna go well. It was like being like, look, get over there, get into that position, get up there, hold it, be confident, shut up.
That'd be interesting to see, like the first year you did it and the last year you did it, and like see it side by side.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it looks 10 times better, because like my mindset has changed, my technique has changed. I've like thought, I think I did say this in the other interview that my teacher, or this woman who taught me at Dancer Hall, her name was Corinne Planter, she was saying, when I first started dancing with Alvin Ailey, this is her, she was like, when I first started dancing with Alvin Ailey, I felt like I was young, so I had to be like, and giving out all this energy, and it's like, then once you get older, it's like, wait, you don't have to be trying so hard. You can it can just be like something that you go out there and you do it,
Right.
Like obviously you want to be full out, but you don't have to be like, I'm trying, I want people to see me. It's like, sometimes that energy is not focused.
That's what I tell actors a lot, right? When I teach them, I tell them, stop showing me that you're frustrated. Just feel it inside, and it will come out naturally.
Yeah. I know, it's just, I think the second time I do something, it's a lot more freer, I'm a lot more confident, I know the part already, so now I can kind of like get more grounded in the character of it, or just like dance with less worry about, oh, how is this gonna look? Because I know how to make it look good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And most times when I've been on stage and I've been so tense is when it looks worse, because I'm so like, I'm not being like free, I'm not like reaching to the fullest extent of my movement, or like I'm tense, so I'm raising my shoulders, or like it's something as simple as just being like, all right, make sure you plie, make sure you cross your legs, make sure you just jump and put your shoulders down and just hit the position. Instead of trying to be like, where's the movement coming from? Is it coming from here, or is it coming from down here?
Right.
So
doing all of that relaxed.
Yeah. And people have told me that over the years, and it's not that you're not ready to hear it, it's just like you don't know how to like internalize it and like make it work. It kind of has to like
you
translate.
haven't like found the solution yet.
Yeah. You have to like trial and error. It took me to, and I feel like it's weird, it's like I say this a lot, but it's like, oh, it took me to like my last season or my last 2 seasons, or to like actually start doing this one step properly, or like attempting to do this step. But it's like there's a lot of like mental like blocks that you have to get through. It's like a lot of stuff, it's like, or jumps or things, it was like I had to think of it a different way, or I had to just like stop being afraid of doing it. It's like sometimes it's got to be like with acting. Sometimes you have to not be afraid of it looking bad or being ugly.
Yeah, you just got to get through it.
You just have to do it, and so
that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense also with why you lasted so long there, and like why now you're ready to move on and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because those little things are prepping you for the next thing. You know,
it all has been prepping me. Period. Even when it didn't seem like I was receiving it or getting it, it was like, well, that's just like how it had to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, someone could be so open and be like, I'm listening, I'm getting it, and they not getting. You don't. You could be like really not getting it.
Right.
It like that's just how it works.
Mm-hmm. It's like how these people have like all these like life quotes and stuff like that, but do you actually know what that means?
No, until you actually have to experience and apply it. No, you don't know.
Right.
Right. It's like you have to. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to keep saying the same thing because I feel like but it's like you can't telling someone something is one thing, but then them listening and taking it in is another thing. But then them actually having the connection
and applying it.
That could happen then. That could happen like a month from. That could happen 2 years from now. But
10 years from now.
You gave them like something. However, it was like given to them, and then eventually they got it.
Yeah.
Be happy that they got it eventually.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like you're not scared of change, man, and you're not scared of changing your life.
Oh, I'm scared.
You're always scared. You just don't.
But
you just like to take the risk.
If you legendary, you do it scared. Period.
Ooh, I like that.
Period.
I like that.
I stole that from someone. But no, I mean, I've heard that before. Like, sometimes you got to do it scared. Like, there's been times I've gone on stage and I've been fucking about to shit my pants. But I go out there anyway. And sometimes you do it scared and it actually is the most, like, freeing experience,
Yeah. Like skydiving. Like skydiving.
Period.
Yeah.
I have not done that. I don't know if I'm going to do it.
Do it before you leave.
Do it before I leave. I'll do it before I leave this earth. Let's say that.
Okay,
I will try to do that. But whether you're scared of it or you just don't like it because you don't know if it's gonna be, I don't know.
Like benefiting you or not.
Yeah, you don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
You're afraid like, oh, am I gonna find like my people in this next chapter of my life? It's like, yes, you found people in each chapter. You're gonna find people again. Yeah.
That's how it was with me in improv. When I first did the improv for the first time, like I was scared, man, because it's like there's no script, you know, and stuff like that. But then I realized that I found my people. Like I could be goofy in front of them, and it'd be okay.
You're always gonna find people because like it's you. Like if you continue to just be yourself and continue to just be yourself, you're going to attract the right people. And I feel like I've always done that wherever I go. Yeah. So that's not going to be a problem.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you being on here.
Period.
I do have a final question for you.
Oh.
Not period. Comma. So we talked about a lot about your journey in the dance world and stuff like that. Do you have any kind of tips or guidance for young dancers? You're such a veteran. I gotta ask you the question.
You know what? Okay. Oh, I was gonna say this before because you keep saying veteran, and I think there's a part of me that's like, I'm not a veteran. I'm so young still. You know, there are people like who are retiring this season who are like literally 45, you know, and have been dancing with the Carolina Ballet since they were 18. To me, those type of people, you know, or have kids, you know, have 1 or 2 kids, have been dancing in the company, you know, since they were really young and have risen, you know, all the way to like the top rank of principal dancer, principal ballerina. I'm like, those people are veterans. But I think too, then part of it is kind of like gaslighty to like not give myself credit and props for all the years that I've done this thus far, because it's like I go to these auditions now and some of the people in these auditions are literal young dancers, like 18, 20, 21, fresh, either in their last year of high school or their last year of college, trying to look for jobs.
Yeah.
And I'm like in the auditions with them, and I'm having to realize that, wait, I'm a professional dancer now.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 10 years,
Yeah.
and have had this experience, and I'm not their age, and I have, I don't know, yeah. So it's like, then I have to realize, like, wait, I am somewhat of like a veteran, somewhat like I have this wisdom, and I've,
to me, like a
learned
veteran
lot.
is not saying that you're the last of the group that before you die kind of thing.
Right.
To me, a veteran is someone who is experienced enough that they're at a professional level.
Period.
And they've done it not one or two times, but more than that.
Period. So yes, and that. Yeah. So yes, and that is like the epiphany that I am having when I've gone to auditions now. That I'm like, wait, they are at the place where I was 10 years ago.
Right.
I am no longer at that place.
And then when you realize that, you kind of carry yourself differently, right?
Completely different.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I even just watched, like, it's like the way that I'm like warming up in the auditions, before. And maybe like I'm doing too much, but I'm doing what I feel like I've learned over the years. That's how I warm up. Like, I'm giving myself a bar, whether it's in like, actual studio or it's in the lobby of the building that I'm about to have audition at, where some of these kids are just like kind of like sitting there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you preparing yourself for this audition physically? Like, how are you gonna go in there? And it's like, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like at my age, and again, I'm not young, but I'm not that old. Yeah. It's like I gotta warm my body up properly.
Right.
I gotta get myself in a good like mental state. And so I guess that segues into your question. I just feel, take care of your body. I mean, I don't do this all the time, but like get sleep, take naps.
Yeah.
And I think, really take moments and really sit and think about what it is you want to do with your career. And just write it down, and then, prepare yourself for those things. Like, go take the classes,
start networking.
Yeah, work out, do those exercises that you need, find out, like, I mean, everything is on YouTube. I feel when I was going through, and I still kind of have like a knees issue, but I've had gone on an ankle and stuff. It's like we have these physical issues that we experience with our bodies, but there's knowledge out there, whether it's through like actually having a physical therapist that you can go to and talk to, or just YouTubing or Googling, like, okay, how do I, recover from a knee injury or an ankle injury, or what exercise I can do to strengthen this part of my body. It's like the knowledge is out there, like go out and seek it. And
that's for everyone, especially the newbies.
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
Period.
Do not wait. That's one thing I wish I would have done earlier. Is like, do not wait till you're older and you actually are in pain. We'll start before that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I feel like, there are things, but again, you don't know until you know. It's one of those things, but now that someone is like out there is actually saying it, like really do it. And, I mean, there's still times where I feel like, all right, I've done this exercise, and obviously I'm always doing like certain exercises that I feel like I need to do that are going to help my body. But maybe there's ones that I do for a few days and then I kind of forget it, and then I'm realizing, like, wait, I actually need to do this one like every single day. For my body.
Yeah. For me, I have to take 20 minutes before I actually work out.
Yeah.
Just like stretching, breath work.
I do. I mean, again, self-care, mental health. Take care of your mental health. Like
that's a big one for dancers, especially because like if there's not a immediate gratification when it comes to arts, I feel like.
Stop seeking that gratification and outward validation. You have to love it because you love it. You have to appreciate what you do. Not everyone's gonna always love it. Don't wait for someone to say it's good for you to think that it was good. Because this is what I've learned. If I don't like it, if I don't like something that I did, it doesn't matter how many times someone can say good job, good job, good job. If I don't think it was good enough, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
but you can't. But also, like, you have to kind of like get over it and move on and just take that as like a learning experience. I think I had like a show that I did this year that it was just like one show that I only had like one show of it, and I wasn't really happy with my experience, or like I wasn't really happy with my performance.
Yeah.
But what I learned from that is to just really, like, the epitome of like, go out there, do what you rehearse, and just have fun. You know?
Yeah.
And I feel like looking back, like I could have like planned more. I could have taken more time in the studio by myself. But also I was like dealing with like an injury, and I was just trying to spend more time trying to focus on like how to recover from this, how to make sure like I can get through the show and do my best.
Yeah.
While also not being in pain and not like injuring myself more. So it is what it is, but I think that out of that experience, I was like, you know what? Each time I'm on the stage, I want to like try to have fun.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously like
In the end of the day, if you like put in all the work that you did, prepping wise, all you have to do is go out there and have fun now.
yeah, go out there and have fun. And I mean, everything is not going to be perfect, but you can't go into it expecting like, all right, I want to do this and this and this, everything like that. I mean, this part that I'm doing right now as we are filming this show in Alice in Wonderland is I have to like lip sync. And, you know, the choreographer, Gianna Ryson, wonderful, talented, young, beautiful woman, you know, kind of set like a blueprint, you know, like landmarks of what we have to do, where we need to be. But when it came to how we did it and the movement that we chose while we're lip syncing and like different steps that we chose, she let us figure it out on our own.
Oh, nice.
And I'm the type of person where it's like, I need you to tell me what to do, but also I'm also gonna make it my own. So every time I would go into the rehearsal, and I'm like the second cast, so I wasn't always getting to do it, but whenever I would do it, I kind of would just like wing it. And and for something like that, I was like, oh no, like after every rehearsal of it, I would just be like, she would see me, and people sometimes think that like I'm being nasty or I'm being negative or something like that. But if you see me and I'm like this, it's because like I'm internally like in a space of being like, that was not good, or like,
What could you have done better?
What can I have done better? It's like I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not. It has nothing to do with anybody else.
Right.
And I, you know, I'll try to like be a present in that moment, be like, thank you, yes, thank you, you know. But and she's like, are you good? And I'm just like, no, I'm just thinking like about it right now.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Process.
But I say all this to say is like, I know we're trying to wrap up, but I would have gone home every single night of this rehearsal process up into these shows, and even during the shows, to be like, all right, what can I do better?
Yeah.
Or like, how can I do this?
That's how you
How
grow.
can I make this work? You know, because I feel like I could not, and then just keep doing it and keep improvising and not have like something planned out. And then after it be like, that was shit because I didn't take the time to really prepare.
Right.
I kind of sometimes need to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then I can riff off of that. But because then I can be like, it's like honestly having the foundation, same thing with like ballet. It's like once I have the foundation or any other ballet, once I have the steps, then and the musicality, I know my counts, then I could kind of like hold something a little bit longer because now I know, all right, when this next count happens, I got to be out of here.
Right.
You know, but if I'm just out there just riffing every time, then I'm all in my head and I don't know where I'm at or what I'm doing. You know?
Yeah.
So
you need an outline at least, and then you can fill it in.
Period.
There you go.
So
I like that.
But yeah, I think mental health, don't be too hard on yourself, but also, you know, like if you have ambitions to be great, what does that look like? How do you reach that greatness that you're striving for? And I think it does honestly, it all starts with the mind. And, you know, I do breath work every morning. And even if I don't, I feel like I've learned that, you know, it's like you can meditate, but then the whole point of the meditation is to learn how to be mindful.
Right.
So even if I wake up and I stayed up late the night before and I don't do my meditation in the morning, it's like, all right, get the fuck up, go to work, but be mindful. It's like, all right, yes, you just woke up, you're at work, you didn't meditate, but that's no one else's fault. So you can't be out here just projecting, oh, I'm fucking pissed with you now and I'm mad at this person because I didn't meditate. No, it's like, all right, I showed up. Like that happened to me last week. And it was like this past week, it was kind of like rough. There was a lot going on. And one of those ones I did not have time to meditate. I don't think I did it all. Maybe I did it quickly. I don't know. But either way, my whole point is that there's been days where I haven't had time to meditate or I didn't have time to eat. I go to work, I get there, and I show up. I feel better because I'm moving my body because I'm taking class, and then, the energy shifts.
Right.
But you can't wait for every single thing in the day or in your environment to be perfect for you to be like, I'm gonna be love and light right now because everything's going well. No, you can just kind of ride the wave and just show up and be like this. You have to work. You are in charge of how you are experiencing the world and how you're projecting out to the world.
Yeah.
Even if people are being nasty or whatever, it's like, period. That's a bot.
Right.
They not real.
Right.
I'm not gonna give them energy.
No.
So
not at all. Watch your energy. Stay present in yourself.
Yeah.
So again, appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for
Always
having
a pleasure.
me. Always a
the
pleasure. This is fun. I like this one. I mean, the first episode was fun, but I was having problems with the mic. I love that there's no mic. There is one, but it's just on me, so I don't got to worry about being too close or too far.
Right.
And then I'm glad that we set the tone with a beautiful little hug, and I was feeling weird about the chair, and now I'm comfortable, and it's been we're just chilling and having a little
I like that
catch-up sesh.
Honestly, I feel like this episode was needed.
Yeah.
For sure. I love my guests and stuff like that, but it's about me trying to format the show differently and what works, what doesn't work. And I think I was too caught up in that. And I think you coming in kind of really just grounded me back to no, just be here. Just be. Don't worry about the format.
Don't worry about the format.
You know what I mean?
Well, yes. Last two thoughts. I was listening to a podcast, and it was with it was Rich Roll. I listened to the Rich Roll podcast, and it was with the author, I can't think of his name right now, but of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Yeah. And they started the podcast by saying I don't want this to be a really serious thing. Can we not? Because I feel like sometimes it gets too serious. So let's just have a conversation. And I feel like that makes it more relaxed and you get the best, because it's oh, now it's not interview, yes, so tell me about the time you did. It's all right. And another because we were talking about failure, I think the last thing that came to my mind is you only fail if you do not try. Yeah. Period.
Absolutely.
And that's a wrap.
Boom.